start to finish, every single step in the last 4 years how we built this shop space.
My dad and I removed a red barn, a concrete pad, and for the last 3.5 years, we've been working on building out this shop space that when you walk in, you go, whoa. We haven't worked under the same roof in 10 years, so we're really excited about this. And our goal is that showing you every step of the way will give you ideas whether you have the corner of a shed or you have a shop space bigger than this, that when you go to work on your workspace, you have some ideas on how to make it cleaner, more efficient, organized, have that wow effect, and listen to the pros and cons and all the processes we went through so that you're as confident as possible to build out a space that will change your life and make your lifestyle doing DIY projects really, really fun. We have a lot of work to do. Let's get into it.
To have a good understanding of this project, I need to give you some context, especially if you're new here. If you are, welcome. My name's Cameron Alford. My dad's name is Dwayne. I'm all about helping individuals build confidence in the garage, and in an episode like this, build out a space that's usable. End of 2017, beginning of 2018, I moved into a house on the same street as this new property. Probably 700 videos were filmed there. It was exposed framing, beat up floor. I had 7,400 subscribers, and I had just bought my dream car at 20, a STI that I financed using the ad revenue I earned from the channel every month. I was on cloud 9. It was the greatest days of my life. 2 years into it, I built it out into a showroom style garage, and that video popped off. Over 1 million views, white floor, white walls, clean Karma Speed logo. Getting the STI was a huge step for my channel, and then building out my garage was another level of notoriety where when people met me in person, they were like, hey, you're the guy with the white garage. Like, that would happen all the time.
Hey, you're the dude with the white floors in this garage, right? Yeah. Sick.
The all white brings a certain energy, a certain aesthetic, a certain level of clarity. It's extra clean, but when it's dirty, it's extra dirty. I love it, and it works really good for the content and my brain, honestly. So there's real value for myself in the all white. So when you start to envision things from this video for your own space, don't get caught up in the all white. You can do different colors, or you can do all white. Now this space specifically is awesome because the origin of this channel is my dad and I. When I was younger, from basically I was born until I was 18, worked under the same roof, everything mechanical, speed, motocross cars, fixing things, everything was under one roof with my dad. And this building is the beginning of a second era of that. I'm 28 now. It ended when I was 18. I went to college, dropped out of that, went and worked for another YouTuber. My own channel finally got big enough to where I could quit and do that full time. And then I was at the house by myself. My parents moved to the town I'm in now. 10 years later, my dad putting his resources together and my resources in the pile, we have this building here that was built out to what it is that you get to watch today. So this is special for us to enjoy life, doing things together. He's got a lift, I've got a lift, he's got projects, I got projects. Father-son duo is back, and I'm excited to bring him on the channel. And this is a new era for the channel. My dad is very busy, so I don't know how much, but there will be a journey moving forward now where Dwayne gets some screen time.
One of the things I can condense and help you with the most is figuring out where to go. Who do I go to for what? Flooring, lighting, air conditioning, garage doors, some of these main elements. Over the last 3.5 years, I've developed relationships with all of these people in this video, so do not take who I recommend lightly. They answer the phone, they help plan things out. They are real people doing real business in the United States. They're awesome, and I can't wait to use them in all my spaces moving forward because I can tell they're going nowhere because they're highly passionate and intentional and real and authentic. So enjoy the partners. I hope you guys use them when you go out to do your own projects. They mean a lot to me, and they'll mean a lot to you by the time you're done with it. This is a lot of work building out your own space, so get ready. You need reliable, dependable people and partners.
Last thing before we get started, there's something to look forward to. Most of you out there have a 2-car garage in your house. I also do now at my new house 6 minutes down the way. We'll be doing a full build out of that in the relative near future. So we have that to look forward to if you're not building out a space this big. So that'll be hyper relatable, and then hopefully this will be inspiring. It's a goal of mine to have something like this at my own place, but to be able to do this with my dad is perfect for this time of life, and I'm super appreciative for everything that he's worked for and my parents have worked for, and then getting to put what I can into it to make it awesome and have a lot of fun together. It's weird because where the videos have been up to this point, that garage, I gained 380,000 subscribers. I make content full time. I've been doing it for a long time. I've learned a lot and it completely changed my life. So I just want to say thank you to everyone watching. Because of you tuning in to the videos, building confidence in the garage, talking about cars, having fun with them, I feel like I'm just getting started. So thank you. Let's get into the process. We got a lot to do to get to this place, to this point it is at today. The first place to start is you figure out, where do I want to purchase this steel building from? We went with a company called Bunger Steel in our area in Phoenix, Arizona. You get that ordered up, you figure out your price, your plans and everything like that. I'll throw the plans on screen and my dad will speak to those details more. Part of what you're paying for is they provide the plans, the steel obviously, and you work with them. Then my dad hired a second person to design the interior space for their guest house, which on that back wall over there, the first story of it is their guest house or pool house. So if someone comes stays from out of town or family, they have a place to stay that's separate from the house. And then that creates an upstairs loft area that will be part of phase 2 that we'll build out, that we have some good ideas for, but for now it's just storage to keep everything organized and clean down here.
They give you plans to submit to your municipality for the permitting, and if there's any changes that are required, that's all part of it.
And then you had to have that approved by the town of Gilbert?
Correct. As part of your package, you have to submit what they call an overview of your whole property, and the other guy did that as well, which shows like the existing house, where the building's going to sit, and all that.
The first place you're gonna start is the design, thinking and visualizing. What do I want my space to look like? I had an idea, but it was kind of risky, so I got connected with the guys over at Obsessed Garage. When you go to their website, you'll see garage design at the top. There's a video here, and they have a design process to give you a virtual tour of your own space that you can build out. You're gonna provide them the building plans, architecture plans, and they're gonna work with you to build out every detail like they did mine. You can take a look at it. We went back and forth over video call, figured out the details, and really pushed the limits of making this space as usable as possible to put a boat in here overnight if we wanted to. In the middle, have enough space for 2 lifts, maximize all the square footage. And I must say, a little bit of foreshadowing is everything that we were skeptical of, going from vision with their plans to reality when we were like putting the lifts up, like, oh, should we really put these up where we're putting them? We brought my diesel truck, my dad's F-150, everything in there. We're like, worst case scenario, is this all? Everything to a T worked out to the plans. Everything that we talked about early was true at the end. So this is a very useful service to push the limits of your building, find what's possible, think of unique ways to set it up to suit your needs. I'll have this service linked in the description. The Obsessed Garage guys are great. We're gonna be doing more and more with them as time goes on to build out this space and future ones.
You have your steel building figured out. Now it's time to prep the area. So there was a red barn on this piece of the property. You can actually hire companies to put them on a trailer and move an entire building. So it went to my old house where all the other videos were filmed at. At first I used it for business, then it actually got turned into a 1-bedroom studio that's rented out on Furnish Finder. So that was a cool little addition to that property. Then there was the concrete pad left. We rented a Bobcat with the jackhammer attachment, and my dad and I went to work loading all that concrete into dump trailers that my cousin Justin had because he has a paper company, which is clutch. But you're trying to use. The neighbors love us. So we loaded all that concrete in there, took it to the dump, unloaded it all. Now we have just the grass area. Dad ripped out the grass, hired a company to come in and do the dirt work, bring in the ABC material and level everything out and prep the actual ground.
But I had multiple soils tests from people directly around us in the neighborhood, and the dirt guy knew what the ground was, and we were fine. So I signed that waiver.
In this phase, you're working on the dirt work, the plumbing, and the footers and everything for the plans for the concrete. That's all convoluted at once. A plumber came out and did those things, and the concrete company came out and did those things.
Yeah, I measured out the 4 corners. Then we staked out the building corners. The cement guys came in and they dug the footers and foundation, but they dug all that. Then they put in the rebar.
That was calculated because we knew we were going to put lifts in. Foundation and footers get dug by the concrete company.
Yes.
Then pause. The plumber comes in, ran all the lines according to the plans. Then the concrete guys went back to what they were doing.
Right, and then I also had to stub in the electrical stub up conduit for the service panel.
Which is that one on the big pipe that comes out of the ground that comes from the house.
Correct. So all that has to be in place before they pour the concrete.
You're bringing the water lines out to the building as well as planning the electrical lines and any wiring from the house panel to out here, so you have power and water. The footers, the concrete pad, everything is in place. It dries for about a month. Then the steel can be loaded up onto the actual concrete, and the company and crew that we hired to erect the building, his name was Mike. Him and his team came over and started putting it together like Legos. Now that the building is up and they have the insulation on the walls, it's time to call our friend Daniel over at Southwest Garage Doors. He's gonna walk us through what we need to know, what type of garage doors we need that are insulated, look nice, have the proper openers, and tell us everything we need to know. So here's what he set us up with and a little bit of the process.
What's up guys, how's it going? So I'll give you a quick tour. So these are some CHI product. These are a polyurethane insulated garage door. We went with a higher insulation value on these doors with some insulated glass to really help the concept of them doing a higher insulation value in all the walls and ceiling, especially with the concept of them wanting to AC the space later on down the road. This is gonna really help the efficiency factor to make sure the garage stays as cool as physical possible. From there, they're on an awesome, I believe this is their bronze color, match the outside detailing of the building. And these doors come in a wide variety of colors to where you're able to kind of hit your color palette, or you can always paint to match as well. So on the inside, we ended up doing some roof pitch track to help kind of match the pitch of the ceiling to help keep this center space as open as possible for some car lifts. From there, we decided to go with some commercial motors versus the smaller standard residential models. This is going to give them a lot longer of a life cycle. These doors are really, really big and heavy, especially with that big heavy insulation. And the larger springs for the higher cyclage for these springs to last a lot longer before they break. It's just going to give the customer a lot more longevity in the situation of them not really having to deal with situations of stuff breaking and little maintenance items that might come up. So with a commercial model, the nice thing about these is you do have an open, close, and stop button. This allows you to get to the situation. So say if you guys are just wanting to basically be able to open the door halfway to let some air in on a nice, beautiful, cool day, we're able to hit stop. The door is able to stop directly in place, let some air in, let some light in, just so you can enjoy the garage on those beautiful days. From here, the other nice reason with these being commercial is this has a emergency release kit. So we're able to basically pull this chain down, lock it in place. We're then able to then engage the chain hoist assembly. So God forbid the power went out or any of those types of situations, they're still able to use their garage doors and they're not stuck at that point. So out of those big, beautiful, cool doors, this little door is probably my favorite. So this actually has a little bit of some custom modifications we made. So typically this would be a vertical lift door to where the door is going to come up, pitch back, and would go vertically straight all the way up to the top. Well, unfortunately, we're a little low on height in here. So luckily, over the years, I've found some different ways to modify things to be able to work. So this is a modified vertical lift. We're able to take the door vertical. From there, add a small radius to the top edge that just allows this top panel ever so slightly to kick backwards. So then we have enough lift and enough space for that door to open up vertically without having the door pitch back into the opening whatsoever.
Daniel is one of those guys that everything he touches is so finished. Whether it's the logo of his company, the looks and styles of his trucks, the branding across. He was even showing me his pre-runner that he built when he was in his early 20s and fabricated all the long travel. It was insane. Daniel is a standout guy, and I can't wait to call him back when I need his help again. If you're in the Phoenix area of Arizona, you're in the valley, you need garage doors, whether they're big, small, 2-car garage, giant ones like this, call Daniel. His information will be in the description. Let him know I sent you, please. Garage doors are in. Now it's time to do the concrete driveway right outside the garage doors, and then have a brick wall installed around the perimeter of the property, because it just had a fence when my parents bought the place.
And then designed
Custom gate.
So
how long is it? How wide is, is the opening?
The issue was the opening was 53 feet wide. It has to follow a wall, right? So it was going to go up against the wall. We had a man gate, so we had no way to just take a 53 foot without blocking that man gate. So I started looking online. I found in Europe it's very popular. They do a stacked gate where they do 2 or 3 panels, and they have a drive system, chain drive system, where the panels all move at the same time. So I got with a local guy, fabricator. He researched it and found a company in the US that made the same type of kit and ordered that. And
the
built.
drive system was a kit, all at the bottom of the doors. And then he fabricated the individual gates
and
the doors.
And then decided where to install the drive systems and all that, yeah.
But that was hard for that guy.
Yeah, that was
That poor guy.
Dearly.
You asked for that question mark, and you had to pay for that question mark.
Yeah, it was not cheap, but
you wanted that bad, because then if you don't have a gate like this, you have 2 smaller gates, a giant block wall in the middle, and then your driveway in front of the garage is way less accessible.
One detail of the building after it's erected is there's going to be some red steel exposed, and my dad put the trim up with a scissor lift and made sure it all paint matched and accordingly, and none of that red steel is exposed on the exterior, so that is part of the process for the exterior part of the building.
Next is renting a scissor lift and doing the insulation in the roof.
The type of insulation though?
it's matte black batting.
Yeah. What did you call the clips that hold the wire?
Hammer-on beam clips.
We'll leave all this links in the description, and then it's just metal wire like you would use on a dirt bike handlebar or to tie something
It's
up.
actually softer than that. It's like aluminum. It's real soft. It's easy to handle.
And then you just do one every, what is that, like about 1.5 feet?
I had just a piece of wood. I think it was 18 inches, yeah.
Next, you spend a bunch of your time building out all the framing.
Next year.
Yeah, you spent a year doing the framing, the plumbing, electrical, everything for the apartment. The shower, custom shower, all that.
Yep.
Which I can show a little bit of.
AC.
Yeah, AC install, MrCool unit.
It's not an apartment. It's a pool house.
And then at that point, so you hung all the drywall on the outside.
And tape and textured.
Yep, and then
I had Steve come in and he did the skim coating and painted it.
my dad did most of this. I helped him with some of it, and it came out really, really nice. That's a detail we were excited about. Lighting. Prime lights, 4-foot sections, 3 giant rows of them. To have 3 beam style looking lights is the look we were going for, and we wanted it to be plenty bright. So 4-foot sections, 3 rows all the way across. You did conduit to each beginning of each row that follows the steel. Painted that black. That sends power to each of them.
Yeah,
That install is pretty straightforward.
yeah,
Because there's no ballast, it's just LEDs.
yeah.
Prime Lights out in Texas are awesome guys, and I'm gonna have their information linked in the description.
The Prime Lights link in the description will land you here, and this is what we use, these 8-foot LED Gen 2 lights. Add these to cart. You can also look at the outdoor fixtures, indoor LED shop lights. You can take a look through. So many options. You can reach out to their team if you have questions or you're trying to figure out what's best for your space. A lot of these look similar, but there's definitely a solution specific to your place. When you're in the checkout process and you enter Cameron Alford 5, hit apply, it's going to save you 5% off your purchase, and that's a free way to support the channel. I want to partner up with all these people that make our lives easier and get us some affordable products, and buy it once, buy it right. The guys over in Texas at Prime Lights are awesome.
Now it's time to do the flooring. This was the most painful part of the process for me personally, because I took that part of it head on.
For the floor installation process, how it works is you're gonna go rent a commercial level concrete floor grinder with diamond blade pucks. There's large ones like this that are over $1,000 to rent. You get a vacuum with it to get all of that dust that attaches to it, so you're not breathing in any of the concrete dust. They have smaller ones if you're doing a 2-car garage, but we got a large one. Grind the concrete down, the vacuum sucks it all up, it keeps it super clean. We're gonna mop the floor, clean all the edges, grind some of the concrete with a hand grinder and some of the corners. Now the floor is prepped. Pores are open on the concrete. This specific floor had the hardest concrete ever. It's just a thing that happens every now and then, a few construction projects in between. I'm the one that was unlucky. We got extra hard concrete, so it was really hard to grind. We had to go back and get the most aggressive diamond pucks that we could find, and it's still barely ground it down. Then you're gonna put an epoxy clear primer, and it's gonna gloss out. It's gonna look crazy nice. That's just a primer. That's a base layer. After that's done, I'm gonna use a floor sander from Home Depot that's cheap to rent with a sanding pad, and just do a nice scuff. Give something for the next coat to adhere to. We were going for that tough, oil resistant, but looked like polished concrete type of finish. And I used a urethane product that is not meant to be installed in the level of heat that we have here in Phoenix, Arizona. And Jason let me experiment over at Concrete Floor Solutions. He advised me to be careful, but I wanted to test it. He was down. It went south. It started drying too fast. The alcohol in it was evaporating. It came out terrible, and that's on me. I installed it when it was too hot. Even at 5 in the morning in the summer, it didn't work. And it turns out, even if it worked, we didn't like the coating. My dad really wanted to lean this route. I wanted to go white. I was like, it's your house, let's do it. That light gray color shows every tire track with a dust mark, every foot, wherever there's dust. It's just all the light stuff shows a lot. Between that going south and everything showing with the light gray, we went back to the drawing boards and my dad's like, you know what? Let's just do white. I was like, say less, okay. We have the epoxy primer still there, so I did a scuff to the top of this. So then we went straight for the pure white polyaspartic top coat. Really tough, glossy, thick finish. And the very last bit, how many hours later? Probably what, 5, 6? My dad actually did the floor in the bathroom, the black polyaspartic, and he had a bucket to show what this material dried like. Let me just roll the clip so you can see how thick this material is and what's between you and your concrete floor.
This was on the bathroom. It's the extra I had. I left it on the dry. And it literally, without the smooth bucket, it just peeled right off. And it takes a lot. It stretches. Interesting.
Hopefully that visual gives you a better understanding of why the floor can be so tough, because that's what's between you and your concrete floor. There's epoxy, urethane, polyaspartic. We went with polyaspartic because it's the toughest, oil resistant, it's UV stable. So when we have the big garage doors open for a lot of the winter here, it's not gonna stain that part of the floor yellow from the UV rays. It'll just stay that ice gloss white. What usually goes to your head when you wanna do your floors, you think, I'll just go buy a kit from Home Depot. Epoxy shield clear coat. These, do not buy these. Do not buy these. They'll chip, flake, fade, turn yellow. Do it once, do it right. When I started this journey of figuring out where do I want to get this stuff from, there's got to be someone who's figured this out. I came across Concrete Floor Solutions YouTube channel, and Jason, who runs the show over there, has an amazing catalog of videos that taught me so much. I got a hold of him, and he has all these awesome kits built out on the website. When you get to the homepage, you can see different floor kits, epoxy, polyaspartics, metallic epoxy. Choose whatever you like. If you have a 2-car, 3-car garage, there's 500 square foot, #1 nationally sold. You can select your options, choosing all the colors and the clear top coat and all these upgrades and things. There's all these instructional videos, installation instructions. You have the guides for the different colors so you know what they look like, so you can figure out what to order, the different flake options. This was the polyaspartic product that I used. When you go to get your floor kit, at the end, enter in Cameron Alford 10 to get 10% off your order on something like a 500 square foot garage. You're gonna save 145 bucks. This number at the top right here takes you straight to Jason and his team. The only major downfall with the white floor is it's the most susceptible to staining from plasticizer that leaches out of tires. It happens quickly. We had a couple spots, so I got this product called Floor Restore from Concrete Floor Solutions. Jason over there, I'm getting to be the guinea pig for all the white floor stuff. And I have to say 24 hours later, we might have found a solution. I will update you more as time goes on, but I did 4 coats of this to create a wax barrier between the polyaspartic and tires. So there's something in the middle there. And 24 hours later, we're not seeing any yellow staining from tires, which is awesome. And I'm hoping this works long haul. I'll keep you posted, but this might be a huge hack to make sure your white floors stay looking clean for as long as possible.
The floor's in. Now my dad put in a lot of work off camera of putting up the walls.
So I installed 32nd inch OSB 4x8 and is behind the drywall. And then the drywall is attached to that. And the reason I did that is twofold. I had to put a base strip down there, remember, for the wood and the drywall. Then there was one metal girder here and one at the top. Well, that's really not enough to hold drywall together at the seams so that it doesn't separate. The OSB, while it was more cost, it helped with that because now you can just screw in as much as you need to, like you normally would with 2x4s, since you don't have the 2x4s. I could have installed 2x4s and done that every 4 feet or whatever, but that also now allows us to mount anything solid to the wall, any place, not having to worry about hit a stud or anything.
So it's the beam that's about chest height. You bolt the OSB boards, plywood.
Top, middle, and bottom.
Top, middle, and bottom. Then that creates a wall.
Right.
And then you take drywall and mount the drywall to your OSB. So then you're able to screw the drywall into that.
Right. And then behind the OSB, I added additional insulation. That girder's about 8 inches wide, so I just put 8 inches of insulation in there, and I can get that R factor too. So there's insulation behind the white wall part up to the top girder. So that just helps with hopefully keeping the building cool and warm.
He did the outlets, the electrical work. He planned a 220 plug over there for a welder, and he had someone come finish and paint them. We have a complete blank slate, and now we are ready to install 2 Benpack 10APX high-rise lifts so that the car can get so high that me being 6'1" or my dad being 6'3" can stand underneath the car without doing this. The last lift I had, the outdoor lift at the old place, I was doing this all the time, and not ideal. These things go so high, and the install process was pretty straightforward. The first one, I really went slow, but the second one went really fast. This is not something you should be intimidated about.
All right, for the fun part, standing them up.
You don't necessarily need a forklift to upright these. I'll put in a clip from a YouTube video from another channel of how they put them up with 2 guys. But these high-rise ones we got specifically are so tall. It's really sketchy, and like they can get tippy. So we borrowed my cousin's forklift, which is the most clutch tool ever. Thank you, Justin. To get these up, drill them in, set them up. When it gets published, I will leave a specific install video of every single step in detail and wiring of these lifts so that you can do it yourself at home. We put the lifts in the corner because it allows to have as much open space in here as possible and utilizes the corners. The corners I feel like get wasted space, a lot of clutter. We pushed them in the corners as much as possible to still be able to fit diesel trucks in here, but then also in the center, you could back a full-size G23 boat in here, a huge trailer overnight if you needed to.
Truck and trailer.
Truck and trailer. It's the best use of space. It's a little weird when you walk in to some people who've just never seen anything like it, but to back the cars into the lifts and then have them adjacent, it looks kind of cool. It does look cool, and it had to have like a dad side, my side type of feel, and then it just works. There's different car lifts on the market, and the reason I went with BendPak, and you see them everywhere for this reason, they feel the safest. They're the biggest. They have the extra wide configuration option, which makes it so much easier to load cars and trucks on. The arms extend super far, super short, so it maximizes your ability to efficiently put cars on the lift. My old lift at my old place, it took me forever sometimes. The arms didn't go low enough. There wasn't nearly as much adjustability. The sturdiness of it is not the same. You get what you pay for, and when it's safety, putting thousands of pounds of metal in the air, you don't want to mess around. You can go with the link in the description from Obsessed Garage. They're a dealer for BendPak. You can get all the different versions. These high rises are awesome for a lot of us that are taller, or if you plan on having tall people around. They make the shorter options for the 2-car garages that are really, really cool. So just because you don't have a big shop space doesn't mean you can't get a lift. You can get the ones that go half as high in a 2-car garage. We now have a blank slate 2-car lifts, but we're not done yet. There's some finishing touches that are super important. But this exact spot, if we look at the render from Obsessed Garage and we look at the actual footage here, everything came out to the vision. The measurements, the specs, the Obsessed Garage team helped me figure that out with their design service. We need to find a place for the Karma Speed logo.
To get air conditioning in the shop, we're using 2 MrCool 36K 3 tons each mini splits. If you can't tell by my voice, I'm a little bit excited about this one. Let's get it unpacked from the pallet that showed up from the shipping company. If you've never had a mini split, you've got the head, you've got the condenser, and these packages I just put down are the covers for the outside of the building for all of your lines. These are made so you don't have to have a professional out. There's going to be a link to an Amazon link in the description and their website. You can order from either place. A general idea when you go shopping for these, everything's measured in BTUs and then tons. 3/4 ton 9,000 BTU is about what you need for a 200 to 300 square foot garage. A 1.5 to 2 ton 18,000 to 24,000 BTU unit is what you would need for a 2-car. A 3-car is about 700 to 900 square feet, and you need a 2.5 to 3 ton 30,000 to 36,000 BTU unit. These are 36,000 BTUs each, so they are a 3-ton unit each. So we have 6-ton total for this area, and for this shop specifically, we need about 5 tons. So we went overkill by 1 ton. You can build a concrete pad to put the condenser on outside if you want, like we are. We're going to create a form with 2x4s, get a concrete mixer, and make 2 pads for each of these. On the right side, there was 2 support beams in the building already that we could create a smaller piece of wall above the drywall to get the heads higher. So we're going to mount that one there, and then my dad's putting in some steel brackets from Bunker Steel to replicate it on the left side. That's ready to go. Concrete pads are drying. AC disconnect box. The power goes from the electrical panel to it, and then from it to the AC unit, and it has a fuse that you can pull if needed to kill power, do any sort of service, or if there was an emergency, just like the disconnect boxes on the lifts. Then we had a grand old time bending some conduit. Well, I should say my dad did, Dwayne did. He loves conduit. He loves that proper perfectionist electrical work. He loves it. Then we got the OSB board cut, mounted it, and mounted drywall to it. Using the template that MrCool supplies for the heads, we mount it up, level it, and we drill our hole with the 3.5-inch hole saw. Then we put the mounting bracket up for the head itself, carry the condenser out to its pad where I put in some redhead 3/8 concrete wedge anchors in to bolt it down. Now for the condenser, we're running all the wiring to it. We have the conduit ran. Now I'm hooking up the refrigerant lines. This is what's so great about the MrCool DIY units, is that it comes preloaded in the lines and in the unit, so you don't have to have an HVAC tech come out. Even these lines have color coordinated caps, so you know what connects to what. You use crescent wrenches to tighten them together and make sure they're snug, and then you're going to use a spray bottle with some soapy water to make sure you have no leaks. You're going to open the caps at the bottom, and there's a 5mm Allen key that it comes with. You're going to open the valves. You'll hear the refrigerant go through the whole thing. You're going to make sure you have your condensation line where water is going to come out of to the side of the refrigerant lines, and then your wiring for the power for the head. Then you're going to run your power wires. You're going to have your line 1, line 2, and your ground coming out of the disconnect box to the unit. And then the wiring for the head going into the condenser is actually labeled 1, 2, 3, and the green ground with the green bolt. Then my dad hooked it up to the main control panel, put a breaker on it, 30 amp fuses, in the disconnect boxes and it turns on right away. It really is that simple. It takes time. You'll read through the directions in person. You'll get an idea from this video, but a caveman could do this. Now we have 6 tons worth of air conditioning available for the blazing hot summer. Thank you, MrCool, for supporting myself and the channel so that we could showcase how awesome these are. I had it in my old garage. Now we have it in the new one. This might be the most important modification so we can get more videos done throughout the summer. There we go. It's opening. We have air coming out. I feel air. This is the greatest day of my life. Dude, the air's already getting colder. Condenser just turned on. It's blowing air. If you live in Arizona or Nevada, you know how this feels. This thing moves a lot of air for how quiet it is too. Blink, do you feel that air? Yeah.
When you plug in the USB to each unit, you can add it to your MrCool app. Just connect it to the Wi-Fi, connecting the first AC unit to the MrCool app so we can set schedules, control it remotely. Really nice to have. As you can see, me and Blink are very comfortable. We have the app open and we have the shop north, shop south. Need to get this to sync up, get this to cool, put it on the lowest right now to get this place down to temperature. You can go into settings, you got cool, dry, fan, auto, heat, and you have your fan speed. We're gonna do add a schedule. We're gonna do 73 every day, fan on auto. Then we're gonna go add custom schedule. Then we're gonna do power off, and that's gonna be at 7 p.m. every day. Just for now until we get used to the place.
First day after the install, I'm at my house. We got a 95-degree day, beginning of summer. I only had one of them scheduled to kick on this morning. I just turned the second one on, but look at what the room temperature is reading. 77 and 75. Let's go feel what that feels like. You're just instantly in a better mood when you're not sweating or really hot. All right, we just put the floor restorer down. Looks nice. It's so nice in here. Let's go. Thank you, MrCool. Oh, feels nice. Feels good in here. Come on, Blink. You excited? Get you.
Is the floor cool?
Get you a bed in here. Yeah, the concrete's cool to the touch. Yeah, we're gonna get you a little bed.
This is the finish of phase 1 of the new shop. Now phase 2 is getting storage outside. So some shipping containers out back, turning the upstairs into like a functional office, its own AC unit, cooled. So we'll update you when we get that done. This was a great overview, but if you want to go deep and see a cost breakdown, I'm gonna leave this video right here for you. And I'm gonna pull from comments on this video. So use that comment section to ask anything you want, and we're gonna address it in this video, talk about cost, all the details. So pairing this video to give you an idea and this video right here to go really deep, you should have an awesome amount of knowledge and information you need to go spend a bunch of money to build out a dream space like this for yourself. And I'm gonna leave a button right here to subscribe to the channel because most watching are not subscribed. And I've been at this since 2017. It's my goal to hit 1 million subscribers, so it'd mean the world to me. Thank you so much. We have so much to do in here. I can't wait. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to wrench with you soon.